Welcome to New Possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. I want to remind you all that on Sunday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I plan to do my first live Google Hangout. I hope that you can join the discussion. I want to be able to take comments live and respond to them live, so hopefully you can join and watch the video live and provide your comments. So I look forward to that. Again, that's Sunday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, so right now I want to talk about this whole feud that's going on, this battle basically between Mitt Romney and Donald Trump. This whole thing reminds me of the kinds of things that happen in this sector of YouTube. It reminds me of a classic ether, and that's what basically happened. Mitt Romney basically destroyed Donald Trump. All he needed was the ether beat to play in the background, and it would have been just like any other video in this sector of YouTube. He basically destroyed him. He talked about how Donald Trump was a con man, he's fake, he's phony. He talked about how Donald Trump uses vulgarities and he's dishonest. He's called him a misogynist. He talked about Donald Trump's temperament, said that Donald Trump engages in third grade theatrics. He talked about how Donald Trump scapegoats Muslims and cheers on assaults of protesters. And then he said what was really a kicker. He said that Donald Trump's promises are as worthless as a degree from Trump University. So he went in. I mean, the song from Lil Wayne, I'm going in, I'm going in, that could have been playing in the background because he really went off. And that's the thing. I mean, I find this stuff to be entertaining, man. I love seeing these Republicans destroy each other. It's amusing to me. And I've never seen like an election that has been this entertaining. I mean, Donald Trump, for all his flaws, he's an entertaining character, to say the least. So Romney just went off, man. Romney dropped some bombs. He dropped some napalm. He unloaded on Donald Trump today. And and it was just fascinating to see this unfold. Before he even, actually gave the speech, he issued a press release telling people what he was going to say about Donald Trump. So before he even gave the speech, the press was already talking about it. So Donald Trump doesn't respond to any of the substance that Mitt Romney raised in his speech. And really, I don't blame him for not responding to the substance. But I'll talk about that a little bit later. So Donald Trump basically, tries to play it off like this is irrelevant, like it's no big deal. And he calls Mitt Romney a failed candidate. He talked about how Mitt Romney basically begged for support from Donald Trump at one point. And he talks about how Mitt Romney was begging him for support. And he basically said, well, if he would have told Mitt Romney to get on his knees and beg, Mitt Romney would have done it. So he basically just went off. He kind of like brushed it aside, dismissed Romney like he was irrelevant. And I don't blame him for taking that kind of approach to the whole thing. Because if he would have went back and responded to each and every point that Mitt Romney raised, that would have just made him look weak. In fact, that would have dignified Mitt Romney's whole speech. By dismissing it and playing it off like it doesn't matter, that's probably a good approach. Because first of all, most of the people who are supporting Donald Trump, they wouldn't be swayed by anything that Mitt Romney has to say. There are many Republicans that don't even consider Mitt Romney to be a real Republican. They don't take him seriously. They see him as an establishment figure, and the people that support Donald Trump are anti-establishment. In fact, the fact that Mitt Romney went after Donald Trump probably gives Donald Trump more credibility in their eyes. We have to understand that the most reactionary people are supporting Donald Trump. You have racists like David Duke supporting Donald Trump. You have KKK members supporting Donald Trump. You have these other white supremacist groups supporting this man. You have these Tea Party idiots and fanatics supporting this man. So these people don't care about facts. They don't care about reason and logic. That's why this man can say damn near anything. And these fools, these zombies, will follow him anywhere. So he didn't really have to respond to any of the substance of anything that Mitt Romney said. In fact, much of what Mitt Romney, much of what Mitt Romney had to say has already been said. Most people have already said these things. It's just it hasn't been done in this kind of format. It hasn't been done on this kind of stage, this huge national stage. So that's what makes it stand out. And it hasn't been done by a fellow Republican. And I know that one of those senators made some comments after he bowed out. Oh, that was Lindsey Graham, who made some comments about Donald Trump and how basically the party's lost its way. But he says it in much harsher words. So, I mean, people have expressed their dissatisfaction, but this is the Republican Party. That's what the Republican Party has become. It's a party of angry white men, racist people, people who hate anything that's different, people who hate minorities, so-called minorities, hate Mexican immigrants, hate Muslims, hate black people, people that have misogynistic views, just a bunch of idiots. I mean, this is a man that brags about how uneducated people support him. How people who are uninformed basically support this man. This man is the Republican Party. The fact that he is on top says volumes about the nature of the Republican Party. The fact that you have this demagogue, this bigot, this racist, rising to the top says everything about who the Republican Party actually is. So they don't care about anything that Romney had to say. That speech was for the establishment Republicans that have lost touch with the base of that Republican Party. These people are extremists. The party is a party that's nothing but a kinder, gentler KKK. It's no coincidence that the KKK supports somebody like Donald Trump. It's no coincidence that you have David Duke supporting this guy. Because David Duke identifies with Donald Trump's message. Donald Trump's message resonates with these hate mongers. Because this man scapegoats Muslims, much how Hitler scapegoated the Jews. It's very similar. This man is a bigot. This man in his anti-immigrant language, that's something that taps into the heart of these white racist people. Because their hatred towards immigrants is driven in part by their white supremacist ideology, where they are in fear of the browning of America. They want to keep this country as white as possible. So they fear the influx of non-white people into this country. So when they hear a candidate like a Donald Trump condemn Mexicans as being rapists and criminals, they identify with that because they feel the same way. It's no coincidence that it took Donald Trump forever to disavow the KKK. This man was asked about the KKK supporting him, and he did everything he could to tap dance around the issue. He pretended like he didn't know who David Duke was. He even pretended like he didn't know who the KKK was. There's something about this man's message that these people identify with. The people at his rallies have attacked black people. They've attacked a Black Lives Matter protester. And Donald Trump, instead of condemning such an attack, Donald Trump said, well, maybe this person should have been roughed up. And then just the other day, a young sister was protesting at one of Donald Trump's events, and his mob assaulted this woman, pushed her around. And I saw a post on Facebook. One of the people who assaulted this young sister was so proud that he assaulted this woman that he actually posted it, I think it was on his Twitter page, as his cover for his Twitter page. These are the kind of people that follow this man, the kind of hate mongers that follow him. You have black media that weren't given access to cover Donald Trump's campaign rallies, but he gave access to hate groups to cover his event. That's because he understands that that's his base. These hate mongers love this man because he speaks and preaches hate. So in terms of this whole thing, I just think that it's hypocritical as well on the part of Mitt Romney and these other Republicans. They didn't say anything until their candidates started losing, until the people that they supported started to lose in these elections, in these primaries. They didn't say nothing when Donald Trump demanded to see President Obama's birth certificate. They didn't condemn that. Where was Mitt Romney then to condemn intolerance? When Donald Trump first said that he wanted to ban Muslims from entering America, where was Mitt Romney? He was nowhere to be found. Where was Mitt Romney when Donald Trump talked about closing mosques? Where was Mitt Romney? Where was Mitt Romney when Donald Trump talked about torturing people? He was nowhere to be found. Nowhere. Where was Mitt Romney when all these different antics occurred? He was nowhere to be found. When Donald Trump talked about how maybe this Black Lives Matter protester should have been roughed up, where was Mitt Romney then? This is nothing but politics. It has nothing to do with principle. Because if Mitt Romney was really concerned about these issues, he would have spoke out a long time ago. It's a little bit too late to speak out now. Donald Trump is the Frankenstein monster that the Republican Party created. That party has been a party for angry white men for quite some time now, for racist white men for quite some time now. Ever since they adopted the Southern strategy to appeal to these racist people, it's been downhill for that party ever since. So in terms of this battle between these two guys, it's entertaining. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying seeing that party tear itself apart. But it looks like it's too late now. They waited too long. This man racked up all these victories, and I don't think any of those other candidates can mess with him. They don't have what it takes. And it's pretty much a wrap. I mean, you got Ben Carson, who's weak, who's feeble. He's basically out of it. He was the token Negro for the moment. He was hot for a second, and now he's the past. And then you have Ted Cruz, somebody who, according to news reports, nobody even likes or respects in the Senate. So there you have it. It's too late for the Republicans to get mad at Donald Trump. He is the monster that they created.